Hartshorn Plunkett Architecture provided pro bono design services on this recently completed project for the nonprofit group, the Teen Living Program. Located on Chicago's South Side in the Bronxville district, Teen Living provides a safe environment, tools, and encouragement for homeless youth in Chicago. This new facility, the first to be built in that neighborhood in decades, includes 24 individual bedrooms, an emergency shelter for younger children, community rooms, a teaching kitchen, and administrative and support spaces.
They had a very tight budget, and given the nature of the site, which was a long rectilinear site, a typical standard Chicago extra-wide lot with full access from an adjacent parking lot, if you combine all of those factors, we just felt as we started to drill down on the budget and on the program that bringing precast in as being the leading sort of design material on the project was the only way to meet all of the goals that the project presented with. As we laid the program out and we realized how intense of a use it was and how sound separation was such an important issue, and the durability of the walls needed to be taken into consideration, we started working with Mid-States and came up with a plan on how we could accomplish the interior structure. The great thing about understanding how precast would work on this project was when we started talking about the schedule of the project and how quickly we could put this up. As we moved through kind of understanding what we wanted the exterior to look like and what our options were, we had some interesting meetings with Mid-States, and they said, well, I remember sitting in a meeting and they said, well, why don't you let us do the exterior? And so we started working with them on how they could do the entire structure. As we sort of developed the program, we realized that we needed a little bit higher finish level and that we wanted to pull in a little different sort of technique on how to form the exterior of the building. And at that point, I personally went and met the guys over at Lombard, asked them if they would jump on board and help us work as a team with Mid-States, and they would do the 11 exterior finish panels, and Mid-States would do the remainder of the project, the core and shell of the project. So working with Mid-States, we came up with all of these wall panel systems and floor slab systems and column structure systems that could be done quickly and efficiently and give us the durability both on the inside of the building. And then Lombard came in and sort of pieced the exterior together and dovetailed nicely with Mid-States. What we wanted to do was to come in with an institutional building and not make it feel as though it were sort of alien to this pattern, this urban pattern that existed. So our plan was to let's come up with a concept of the building that's organized very much in the same way that all the 3 flats and 6 flats and 2 flats in the neighborhood are organized. Brought in a red tone that picked up on a couple buildings that are nearby, and we detailed the building in a way that gave it the same sort of texture, not an identical pattern, but the same texture and rhythm that you would have in a masonry building. So this was a PCI Design Award winner, and this recently won a neighborhood design award from the Treehouse Foundation. When we're doing large buildings, when we do tall buildings or big buildings, we tend to also we always sort of look at precast concrete. It's always an option that we look at and we consider. What I think this process did for me is understand that even on small buildings, you have to always have that as an option. It's always an option that should be, sort of at the front of your mind when you're sort of laying out a building and looking at it architecturally. It does give you the kind of cost benefit that you need on small projects, but there's a lot of design flexibility that I think you don't think about smaller to mid-sized projects.